the heat, both from a sweltering August sun, and Mark Martin, who was now just 53 points back. But it was the 88 car that had numerology on its side. On lap 11, Dale Jarrett's disappointing season got a little worse. He spun through the infield grass. He damaged the nose of his Ford Taurus. But on the 11th anniversary of his first career win, which came at Michigan, Jarrett would not be denied. With the help of some cool-headed pit strategy from his Robert Yates racing crew, DJ picked his way through the field, making up 4 positions over the race's final 11 laps to take his second win of the season. For nearly a year, the impossible kept happening. Jeff Gordon was not winning races. Entering late August, the defending NASCAR Winston Cup champion had gone 31 races without a victory.
I love what I do. I love getting out there in the race car, but I love to win, you know, and winning makes things a lot more fun. And so, you know, I'm not going to be really having as much fun as I could until I get into victory lane. I think this team feels the same way. I think everybody's, you know, doing an A-plus job. They are doing the best job that we could possibly ask for. That doesn't mean we can't, you know, get better. A little bit of luck wouldn't hurt, but, you know, I believe, you know, you make your own luck. And this is a strong team that knows how to stick together and get through, you know, some of the bumpy times. And I don't know if you can appreciate the good times, you know, as much until you go through some of the tougher times. And I can tell you we're appreciating those good times a lot right now. We'd appreciate a win a whole lot.
When the Rainbow Warriors returned to Thunder Valley, their driver assured them that nothing and no one would stand in their way. Beneath a spectacle of lights and a sea of race fans, Jeff Gordon was poised to make a champion statement. Sterling Marlin was assessed a penalty for a runaway jack, but he kept his points lead intact with a 7th place finish. Meanwhile, tempers flared and heel pads flew as hard-nosed short-track racing left sheet metal bent and egos bruised.
Oh! And Jimmy Johnson gets turned right in the front of Mark Martin.
Robbie, they're going to come in and hold you for 2 laps.
What? It's not right because he missed the gear shift. They're going to hold me for 2 laps.
I'm just telling you what they said.
I mean, why are they going to do that, Richard? I drove my butt off all day long, and he missed the gear shift, and I'm in trouble.
10-4.
Just like every form of racing he's ever been in, it's always somebody else's fault. He had me turn sideways before we even took the green. I didn't even have a chance to grab a gear. He was beating my bumper cover off me coming to the green because he wanted to restart in front of me. I'm trying to get my lap back as well, so he's just crying up a river like he always does. It's a shame. We got a chance to win the championship and we get spun out before we even take the green on a restart. It's wrong.
2 laps to go. Jeff Gordon found himself 1 position away from breaking his slump. Rusty Wallace was the poor soul occupying that position.
Ooh, Rusty didn't get off a 2 at all that time. Here comes Gordon, right up against the back bumper. Everybody in the crowd on their feet.
And
3 laps to go.
Slow the traffic, I think, caused that right there.
Here comes Gordon, right up to the bumper again.
Did you hear that wheel spin, Benny?
Yeah, I did hear that wheel spin.
The bump and run.
There it is.
Gordon underneath to the lead. 2 laps to go.
Gordon's winless drought was over. It was time to get a new kind of streak started. In the 53rd running of the Southern 500, it was a pack of former Darlington winners who waited out the rain, then dominated the day racing on the Lady in Black. It began with 5-time winner Bill Elliott, who led 43 of the race's first 90 laps. Elliott was joined at the front by fellow former Lady Tamers Mark Martin, Dale Jarrett, Jeff Burton, and Sterling Marlin. But in the end, It was Gordon who once again took the checkers. His record-tying 5th Southern 500 win, his second victory in as many weeks. A win that moved him into 2nd position in the points, just 91 in back of Sterling Marlin. On the night of September 7th, NASCAR paused to honor the heroes of that same week, 1 year earlier. The result was a pre-race ceremony at the Richmond International Raceway that proved to be one of the most stirring moments in NASCAR Winston Cup history.
The NASCAR community will join all of America over the next few days in remembering September 11, 2001. We stand here tonight in honor of all those who fell victim that tragic day in Pennsylvania, in Washington, and in New York City.
Only 8 laps into the race, the 2002 season changed completely.
Hard into the wall. Oh, 2 more behind him.
Jimmy Spencer.
And the point leader, Sterling Marlin.
Marlin finished 43rd, suffering chest and shoulder injuries in the process. But the true repercussions of his accident would not be felt for a few more weeks. Marlin's mishap put Jeff Gordon in position to snatch away the points lead, but his hopes were sacked by engine trouble. 11 different drivers took turns at the front, including Greg Biffle, subbing for Bobby Hamilton, injured in a Craftsman Truck Series event 2 nights earlier. With less than 15 laps to go, Matt Kenseth was under fire from 6-time Richmond winner Rusty Wallace.
Off the pace, turn 2, right front's down.
Right front
Look
is
at the car
down.
leaning.
Right side.
Yeah.
Rusty Wallace loses a right front. He was closing on Matt Kenseth.
Kenseth scored his series-leading 4th win of the year, while Ryan Newman settled for 2nd place for the 4th time in 2002. Ricky Rudd finished a solid 7th, but found himself thrust into the headlines after cameras caught an ambush by Yates racing engine builder Larry Lackey and a quick but frightening altercation. Just 3 weeks earlier, Rudd had announced plans to leave Yates for the Wood Brothers in 2003. Over the next week, Lackey was fined by NASCAR and let go by Yates. Rudd spent the week holding an ice pack on a swollen left eye. Cool weather and a patched-up track surface kept anxieties to a reasonable level for the series' return trip to New Hampshire International Speedway. That same cool weather brought dark clouds to Loudon as well, which meant that every team ran every lap as if it might be the last. With threatening skies overhead, Johnny Benson was up front, looking to end a career-long NASCAR Winston Cup win drought.
And look at this, and there goes Newman, and there goes Kurt Busch.
And that's all it takes is one little slip, and boom, 2 positions.
The pair of 24-year-olds played a 130-mile-per-hour game of tag for the final 40 laps when the cool New England rains finally came. After a season full of runner-up finishes, Ryan Newman was finally a first-time NASCAR Winston Cup winner.
You know, it's awesome, and I don't probably show the emotion that I should, but you know, just to have my dad here, Don Miller, everybody, say hi to Roger Penske. Thanks for giving me the opportunity, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's awesome for us.
Newman's win catapulted the rookie from 10th to 8th in the point standings. In addition, Mark Martin knocked Sterling Marlin out of the points lead for the first time in 25 races. Now, with only 9 races to go, the top 5 drivers were separated by just 67 points, and the top 8 by less than 200. Easily the tightest championship chase in NASCAR history. Trip number 2 to Dover looked an awful lot like trip number 1. Jimmy Johnson started the day 19th. By the halfway point, Johnson had blasted his low Chevy through traffic and back up in front. After withstanding several late charges by Martin, Johnson completed the Delaware sweep, tying Tony Stewart's rookie record with 3 wins and joining Newman as the first pair of rookies to win in back-to-back weeks. Suddenly, members of the number 48 team weren't just talking about winning Rookie of the Year. They were beginning to whisper about a championship. The NASCAR Winston Cup Series rolled into Kansas City like a Midwestern twister, gaining momentum with each cycle, cutting a path of destruction through the point standings. Victim number 1, Sterling Marlin, who hit the backstretch wall hard, just past the halfway point of the race. He finished 33rd. Victim number 2, Mark Martin, whose engine went sour with 20 laps to go. He finished 25th. That cleared the way for the 2-car Hendrick tag team of Gordon and Johnson. Gordon captured his 3rd win in 6 weeks. Johnson overcame an early flat tire to finish 10th, and he became the first rookie in NASCAR Winston Cup history to sit atop the point standings. But the biggest shock of the season was still 48 hours away. Marlin's crash had resulted in a cracked vertebrae of the neck. As soon as the injury was diagnosed, car owner Chip Ganassi informed the man who had led the standings nearly all season that his year was done 7 races early.
Well, I mean, you're disappointed because the guys put so much in it and hard work and you know, the guys really focused on winning championship. I was, but you know, it's a deal that you got to get out. I mean, you're gonna if you get another lick, like I said, you could be paralyzed, whatever. So you know, I think your health's more important than championship. And got a good team. We'll rebound, come back, and get them next year.
Replacing Marlin in the number 40 Dodge would be future teammate and current NASCAR Busch Series up-and-comer Jamie McMurray. All of this on the eve of one of the most unpredictable tracks of them all. Even with 5 teams gunning for $1 million bonus check, 150,000 Alabama race fans were focused solely on the front row and a highly anticipated day-long battle for the points lead. But Jimmy Johnson and Mark Martin never made it to the green flag.
Left front down so far that the tire hit the fender there, Mark. That wasn't it, buddy. It was mechanically down. It was locked. It wasn't a fender.
What in the world? I have no idea.
He's talking like the way he's talking to Ben Leslie is all of a sudden it just locked up. He was turning it left and it would not turn back to the right. It just locked up.
Smaller fuel cells created more action on pit road. It broke up Talladega's notoriously large packs of cars, adding to the restrictor plate chess match. Meanwhile, 6 Hendrick-built engines expired, sending their drivers behind the wall, including Johnson and Jeff Gordon. From there, it was all Dale Earnhardt Jr. towing Tony Stewart across the finish line. Earnhardt earned his 3rd consecutive Talladega win and the No Bull $1 million bonus. Johnson finished 37th, Martin 30th, and Gordon 42nd. Tony Stewart became the NASCAR Winston Cup points leader for the first time in his career with Joe Gibbs. But those expecting the Home Depot team to drop into a prevent defense would be sorely disappointed.
I want to win. Doesn't matter if 2 of us leave the racetrack at the same time we're heading back to the airport. I want to beat him to the airport. When we show up at the racetrack each week, I'm I'm going to win the race. And if I win the race, the points will take care of itself. So let these other guys points race. I'm going to go win me a couple more races for the years out and try to win this championship that way. You know, everybody wants a Brickyard 400 trophy. Everybody wants a Daytona 500 trophy. But if they had to only pick one, everybody would pick the Winston Cup trophy.